lads, give your heart and soul. Run lads, shoot lads, give us all a go. Run lads, shoot lads, you can do it yet. Come on Newport County, oh, bang it in the net.
Hello everybody and welcome to Taff's Word. Today we're going to be running through a fair few recent subjects regarding County. The first one, I got to make a mention to the team for nearly beating Newcastle. I was gutting that we nearly beat them, but we almost beat Newcastle and got to the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. What an amazing cup run. Again, you know, immensely proud of the team, the management and everybody involved with the club at the moment. We're playing some really great football, and against Newcastle we were that close. You know, we were even leading the shootout at one point as well, so it was gutting to go out in that kind of fashion, but you know, the fact that we came close and to knocking out a team as big as Newcastle, it was, you know, it was, I'd say, nearly as good as the Tottenham game, to be honest with you, as far as cups are concerned. Hopefully we can continue our cup form when the FA Cup comes around. Not quite sure exactly when that'll be for us right now, but hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. So on the weekend we suffered our first defeat at Cambridge. There was a lot of things against us, I think, that were out of our control, which were a tad bit unfair. I think the pitch didn't hold up. I think it should have been abandoned at half time because of the amount of water on the pitch. It was almost impossible to play the game that we're used to on that pitch. Also, the red card that should have been. The referee didn't even book the guy. The guy kicked out at Josh Labardi, forced his studs into his side. Should have been a red card, 100%. I mentioned on Amber Talk the other day that Son for Tottenham got sent off for something a lot less than that on the back of VAR, which is why I'd like to see VAR handed down to the lower leagues in the EFL. You know, I know it's a big technology investment and it's one that can't really be done, you know, with the current climate. But if we had VAR and the referee was able to look at that again, he would have sent him off. Otherwise, he's a complete and utter crackpot who should never referee another game in his life. But it was just one of them games. I mean, Scott Twine scored a beauty. Defence was a bit poor for the goals we gave them. I don't think the keeper, Nick Townsend, covered himself in much glory for the second one. But saying that, I feel Nick Townsend has had a pretty decent start of the season and has kept Tom King out of the team on merit completely. One person who's had a great start of the season, of course, is Brandon Cooper. Now, I mentioned him and the fact that Joe Rodon is wanted by Tottenham, and hopefully he doesn't move on there, because there's a big likelihood that Swansea will recall Brandon Cooper to play in their first team rather than reinvesting the money, because I think Brandon Cooper could do a job for them. Hopefully that won't be the case and we get to keep him for the full season. I mean, you just got to look at Ben White. Ben White, what was it? Brighton wanted to bring him back and send him to a higher league club, and he insisted he was staying with us, and he did. And I think that did him a lot of good, because he could have gone somewhere else and it may not have been as good, and his development would have taken a bit of a knock, and he may not be at the level that he's at right now. Brandon Cooper could really do with emulating Ben White and staying with us for at least a full season and seeing where he can go from there. So hopefully we do get to keep him, for our sake and for Swansea's sake, of course, and for the Welsh national team's sake. I wanted to mention Kevin Ellison. It's good to see him playing now. I don't know what exactly kept him out of the team in the beginning, whether it was a fitness thing, because word is that he seems to be the fittest guy there. You know, he doesn't stop basically in training. Whether it was match fitness, that was the issue, I don't know. But we've seen him make 2 appearances now. Not done anything special yet, but you know, his time will come, I'm sure. One player I wanted to mention now, Scott Bennett, I'm a massive fan of, but I like him in the midfield rather than in defence. I don't think he is as good in defence as a centre-back in comparison to what he is as a central midfielder. And I felt you could argue that Bennett may have been at fault for the first goal because it came from his side, and it was where he would have basically been if he was positioned in the right place. He may have been able to prevent that first goal. I feel if Brandon Cooper had played, he'd have been there. And I also feel if Carl Haikins had played, he'd have been there now. I don't know if I've missed anything. I may have. But is he injured at the moment? I don't know. But I do rate Carl Haikins. I think he is a handy centre-back. I think he's good with the ball at his feet as well. And I do hope we do get to see him again at some point soon. Because, like I say, I rate him. One of the, I mean, if the injustice of the Cambridge game wasn't enough, their manager was given the Manager of the Month over Michael Flynn. How on earth does that happen? Flynn was undefeated in all of September in the league, and he obviously went on his Carabao Cup run throughout that month. How did Flynn not win that Manager of the Month? I mean, I know it's a curse, but that curse didn't happen for the Cambridge manager. But, I mean, maybe if Flynn had got it, I mean, we lost the game anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. I don't know how he didn't get that Manager of the Month. I thought he was an absolute shoo-in. He would have been the banker of all bankers if there was betting available on who's going to get Manager of the Month. He'd have been 10-1 on, at least. So I think personally, I think he's been robbed of an award that he rightfully should have won there. I think it's a bit of a disgrace if truth be told. Just here today that the club are relocating their offices to Ronnie Parade. Now, this wouldn't usually be the trivial kind of thing I'd bring up in this kind of vlog, but I think it's worth mentioning because if we're relocating to Ronnie Parade, I'm hoping that there's at least either a saving being made, because I know we weren't paying much for the offices in Langstone because that was arranged by Mark Crook. Now, if we've moved to Ronnie Parade, I can't imagine we'll be in a position where we'd be willing to pay more for offices. I don't know where in Rodney Parade they're going to be. All I know is that the new address for the club is Rodney Parade. So like I say, I don't know where the offices are going to be. I know the building that our offices used to be in, which was condemned. I know Rodney Parade sat back and let us spend a load of money on refurbishing them before telling us we got to move out of them. I mean, there were literally weeks between the completion of the refurbishment and then the notice that the buildings were being condemned. Wasn't happy about that. But I'm wondering, is there some kind of U-turn on those buildings maybe, and it could be in there? But the reason I wanted to mention this is, does it mean that if Rodney Parade are allowing us to have our offices at Rodney Parade, is there an improvement in the relationship between the club and the stadium? The company that runs the stadium, the Dragons / Welsh Rugby Union, their little team over there. Is there an improvement in the relationship, which bodes well for us in our future, being as there is say we're about 3 years away from the lease expiring there. So does that mean that if we're going to be on Rodney Parade now for the foreseeable future, that we'll be playing at Rodney Parade beyond 2023? It's a possibility. I know there's a stadium group out there who are there to try and group as many people together and get as much funding as possible together to try and get us a brand new stadium of our own, which would be absolutely lovely. Because personally, I think that's the one thing that's stopping some people from coming over. If it was a nicer, more attractive stadium, and I've said this before, when you walk into a football ground, if it's a nice ground, you get that feeling as you walk in and you see it for the first time, that breathtaking, stadium feeling as you walk in and you see the whole ground and the pitch and everything like that. I think it's Fever Pitch, where Colin Firth's character, when he was a teenager, walks into Highbury for the first time, and you just see him, it takes his breath away, his eyes light up, it takes his breath away, the sight of the stadium and the pitch and everything like that. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now, if there was that potential feeling for people to walk into a stadium of ours, because at Ronnie Parade you don't get that feeling. You don't walk out the Bisley and look around and think, whoa, this is great. You walk in and think, nothing really. You just walk in and that's it. There is no nice stadium feel. So whether a new stadium of our own is on the cards at some point, I don't know. Or whether the stadium group could eventually group with Rodney Parade and work on some development to the stadium to make it that bit more attractive, Because I think even the Dragons have got to look at that and think, you look at the Ospreys playing at the Liberty. I know Cardiff Blues used to play at Cardiff City Stadium, but I'd say their ground is nicer than Rodney Parade. So, surely that's the next step for Rodney Parade is to look more attractive. Because you see everything outside the ground when it's on TV. I mean, I like the ground. I think we've made good history for the club at the ground, and I'd be happy to see us continue there. But I'd definitely like to see the stadium evolve a little bit more and become a bit more modernised and just get that feel. You can walk in, walk through the turnstile into the concourse, and as you go up the steps and in through the tunnel, bang, there you go. That's what I'm hoping for one day in a stadium for us, and that will attract a lot more supporters, I think. Talking about supporters, we are still at loggerheads with the government on whether fans are going to be let in, and I know I've pushed it around a bit, and I know it's going to be at the point where there's over 200,000 signatures on the petition for the government to start letting fans back into the football grounds. Now, with the heightened urgency levels being implemented around this lockdown across the nation, I think is the new 3-tier sort of thing being introduced now. I mean, I don't understand an awful lot of it because it changes from time to time. It changes from day to day, so it's too bloody difficult to keep up with. All I do is just make sure I'm wearing my mask and stay 2 meters apart, sanitize and wash my hands as often as I can, and that is what I do. Whether we're going to be in a position where they'll allow football fans to go back in, I mean, if pubs are allowed if people like to go and watch the football indoors in the pub together, surely they can stand on a bloody terrace on the outside. Whether they're talking about theatres opening up, cinemas opening. If people can sit in an enclosed space together, surely they can sit in an outside space together, stand in an outside space together on terraces. I think football is being horrendously overlooked, with urgency towards, the need to get the finances flowing in football better. I mean, obviously they got the restaurants and the pubs back open. They're getting local economies pumping money through it again. But football is being overlooked, I feel. So hopefully one day, very, very soon, we will see an opportunity for fans to be let back in. I mean, I've bought a Newport County season ticket. If I can't go to a single match this season, it won't be the end of the world for me personally, because I'm glad that I've put money into the football club, and I've played a part in making sure my football club can survive financially through this. But I still think, to be honest with you, I think I think more people buy season tickets if they were guaranteed they'd be allowed in. I know that there's something about clubs not being able to offer match day tickets at the moment, but that could come into 2021 at some point. But at the very least, if there's a guarantee that if there's a date to say this is when fans are going to be let back in, maybe there will be more people who buy season tickets, and we'll see more fans coming in, especially because the club are doing their own split payment plan, which I think is a brilliant introduction to the season ticket scheme. So we'll see. But I do think that the government have to look at football as a priority, because I think it means so much more to more people. As, they say the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Well, football is a need of the many. So I think they need to understand that going forward. Now, I look forward to our next match, which is on Saturday at home to Tranmere. Tranmere have had a bit of a mixed start to the season. I know they've struggled for goals, and they've managed to pull back a 2-goal deficit against Salford to draw 2-2. So I think they've got to be taken with caution. I think they got a lot of their players that they had when they got promoted 2 years ago when they beat us in the playoff final. I think we owe them one. So I think the onus will be on us to go out there and take the game to them, especially for the fact we're at home. If we play the game that we can play, and we play it well, and we have... I'm not sure if Brandon Cooper's going to be back or not, but hopefully we'll have Brandon Cooper back for the weekend, and he'll play his part and make a big difference, of course. But there is doubt for the game, of course, because of the players who are tested positive for coronavirus for Tranmere, and there's a lot of others being tested there, so the game may not go ahead. I hope it does, because I like the football on the Saturday. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing at the moment, you know. I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying playing FIFA at the moment, but there's only so much you can do without seeing some real stuff, you know. I mean, we're not going to get any Premier League this weekend because of the internationals, so hopefully, you know, we'll see some decent, you know, football from the county again on Saturday. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you like the new introduction stuff. Put a bit of time into that one, but you know, I think it's going to make quite good. And you know, until the next time, cheerio for now, and as always, up the county. Many thanks for watching the latest content on the Amber Army channel. Please make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe for more content, both for the neutral football fan and also plenty of Newport County. Even more Newport County content can be found on the club's iFollow channel on the link above. It is just £4.49 per month to subscribe to that service. And those of you feeling extra generous can also support us on Patreon on the link at the bottom there. That would be a monthly donation of your choice. Thank you again, make sure you've subscribed, and as always, up the county.